Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking a closer look at real estate happenings right here in the Toledo area. We'll be focusing on the week of August 22nd to the 28th, 2025. Now, you've asked us to help you get a clearer picture of the housing market, especially in the lovely Old West End. That's zip code 43620. But we'll also touch on some interesting sales nearby, too. We'll explore, who's buying, who's selling, and maybe some of the stories behind these moves.
Yeah, and one thing that often comes up, and it's important to understand right away, is seeing transactions listed for, well, $0. Now, that doesn't mean someone got a house for free. It almost always means ownership is just being shifted around, maybe for administrative reasons. Think of it like moving a special family item from one box to another, maybe putting a property into a family trust, for planning, or perhaps moving it between family members. It's not really a typical market sale.
Okay, that's a really helpful way to think about it. Good distinction. So let's try and unpack all this for you, nice and clearly. No confusing jargon. Let's start then in the historic Old West End, 43620, or it seems like it was maybe a quieter week for traditional sales there. More of those internal transfers you mentioned.
That's right. First up, we saw Lori Herman transfer her property. It's at 2200 Scottwood Avenue. That's right there on the corner of Scottwood and Glenwood Avenue. She moved it into a trust. Like we said, it's a common way folks plan for the future, for their families. Makes things smoother down the line.
And then just around the corner from there, Annette James transferred a commercial property. This one's at 2126 Glenwood Avenue, near West Delaware Avenue. She moved it to her company, AJ2 Innovative Holdings, LLC. That's a limited liability company, right?
Technically, an LLC.
So why do businesses do that? Why move a property into an LLC instead of just owning it personally? Is there an advantage?
Oh, definitely. That's a great question. For a business like AJ2, doing that transfer is usually about organization, both legal and financial. It can offer liability protection, keeping business assets separate from personal ones, and sometimes there are tax planning benefits too. It's all about structuring things effectively, safely.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Also in the Old West End, over on Fulton Street this time, the Lucas County Land Reutilization Corporation, people usually just call it the Land Bank, right?
Yep. The Land Bank.
Okay, they transferred two properties right next to each other to Patricia Lee. Addresses are 2467 and 2471 Fulton Street near East Woodruff Avenue.
Yeah, and this is really important work. The land bank plays such a crucial role. They take properties that might be vacant or, neglected and help get them back into use. So these two transfers to Patricia Lee, that's a real positive step for the block, for the whole community, really, bringing properties back to life.
Absolutely. Okay, let's shift gears a bit now. Let's talk about the week's biggest residential sale. For this, we need to head out to Sylvania. That's zip code 43560. This one was, well, quite something.
It really was. Jennifer Soroka sold just a magnificent country estate, sold it to Matthew Graber for $925,000.
Wow, $925,000. That's a serious price tag.
Yeah.
And the property address.
It's at 10820 Brent Road in Sylvania. It's out near North Centennial Road.
Okay, Brent Road near North Centennial. And it sounds like it's more than just a house.
Oh, much more. It sits on almost 6 acres, and the house itself is huge, nearly 5,000 square feet. It's got 5 bedrooms, 4.5 baths. The description mentioned things like a 2-story great room with a stone fireplace.
Nice.
A gourmet kitchen, even a finished basement with a bar. So yeah, it shows there's a strong market for that kind of high-end, spacious property with privacy.
Definitely sounds impressive. Okay, so that was the biggest one. How about a quick spin through some other notable sales in Toledo proper?
Sure thing. Let's see. Over in West Toledo, zip code 43606, Myung Shin and Youngmin Choi sold their home. It's at 2829 Pembroke Road. That's right off Goddard Road. They sold it to Kenneth and Janelle Holtz for $410,000.
Okay, $410,000 on Pembroke. And nearby.
Yeah, not too far from there, actually. Laura Franchetti sold her house at 2230 Middlesex Drive. That's near Pemberton Drive. Michael Lorigo bought that one for $385,000. So, both pretty solid sales in that West Toledo area. Seems like a healthy market there for those established homes.
Right. Good activity. What about the 43623 zip code?
Okay, up in 43623, Andrea Rashry sold a home at 4043 Rose Garden Drive. That's just off Harvest Lane. It went to Elaine and Diana Anderson for $270,000.
$270K on Rose Garden. Okay, and let's do one more, maybe down towards Perrysburg.
Sounds good. Down in Perrysburg, Kevin and Lori McElfresh sold their place at 1207 Sandy Glen Drive. That's near Three Meadows Drive. And it sold for $560,000. The buyers were Amy Sell, Janet Sell, and Joan Wastovich.
Interesting. 3 buyers listed there. $560,000 in Perrysburg.
Yeah, sometimes you see families or maybe friends pooling resources, especially for properties in, desirable areas like Perrysburg.
Makes sense. Okay, so wrapping things up,
Mhm.
what does this all kind of tell us about the week? We saw a mix, didn't we? Some really significant home sales, especially that big one in Sylvania,
Mm.
but also those important, quieter transfers happening, particularly in the Old West End.
Exactly. It really paints a picture of different kinds of activity shaping the area. And it brings up an interesting question, I think, for you to consider. When you look at all these different transactions, the big estate sales, the family trust planning, the land bank working to revitalize properties, how do all these pieces fit together? How do they each, in their own way, contribute to what our neighborhoods look like now and what they might become in the future? Are we seeing different markets emerge, or is it all part of sort of reshaping the community fabric together?
Hmm. That's definitely some food for thought. A lot happening behind the scenes and out in the open. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Toledo real estate scene. We really hope this breakdown was helpful and easy to follow along with. We look forward to exploring more with you next time.